Hello Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Scorpio, today we're going to focus on your past, present, as well as your future, and then we're going to see the ultimate outcome of your current situation. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for their past, present, as well as their future. So in the past, Scorpio, we do have the Empress. Your current energy is the Three of Wands. Okay. And then your future, we do have the Wheel of Fortune. As far as your ultimate interesting outcome is concerned, we do have the Two of Wands. I want to focus on this Three of Wands really quickly here. So it looks like you decided to turn your back on something and or someone. Now, what's interesting about the Two of Wands is that whatever it is that you're deciding to turn your back on, whether it be, a person, whatever, whatever have you, it looks like as far as the ultimate outcome is concerned, you're kind of second guessing yourself. It's as if I see you kind of questioning yourself on whether or not you made the right decision as far as turning your back on whatever this thing is. But we're going to get into that in a second as far as like the Two of Wands is concerned. But let's look at the Empress. Tell me more about the Empress here in the recent past for Scorpio. Okay. So it looks like you made a decision in the recent past to follow your heart, okay? I am definitely getting that. It looks like you decided to, pursue a connection here with someone. I am definitely getting that. And it looks like you were very determined to not allow anyone or anything stand in your way when it came down to pursuing this connection here between you and this person that you were connecting with here in the recent past. You were also very determined to not even stand in your own way. I'm also getting that as well. So when you met this person, you could have had some doubts and reservations on whether or not you should go off and pursue and establish, a life with this person in particular. But it kind of looks like you moved past, your own doubts and reservations about this person, decided to listen to your heart and follow your heart and give this person, your relationship with them, a chance. Okay, let's look at the Three of Wands. Tell me more about the Three of Wands. Okay, so it kind of looks like you go from, I'm just going to listen to my heart. I'm just going to follow my heart. I want to be with this person. I'm going to go be with this person and build with this person. Then it kind of looks like, you start to experience a complete 180. It's basically what I'm getting. It's like you go from, I'm going to go off and pursue a life with this person to like, on second thought, I don't know if I should. I don't know if it's a good idea after all. It just kind of looks like fear started to really essentially take over to the point where it actually did influence you to, turn your back on this connection here between you and this person. Is basically what I'm getting. Fear started to essentially get the best of you. And it looks like you decided to turn your back on this person / connection. Okay, now in the near future, we do have the Wheel of Fortune. So let's see what's going on there. Okay, I see. So in the near future, when it comes on to this decision that you chose to essentially make as far as turning your back on this dynamic between you and this person is concerned, in the near future, I do essentially see you feeling like you essentially made, the right decision by turning your back on this person and what you once upon a time had with them and what you once upon a time wanted with them. And what's causing you to essentially feel like you made the right decision has a lot to do with you not experiencing this Five of Swords, Nine of Swords energy anymore. When you were dealing with this person, you found yourself very much so in your head. When you were dealing with this person, you found yourself possibly experiencing a lot of fear, anxiety. You could have found yourself really overthinking things. You could have also found yourself extremely worried and concerned. I'm also essentially getting that. But now that this person's not in your life anymore, you don't find yourself worried and concerned about absolutely anything, which is causing you to feel like you made the right decision by turning your back on this person and not deciding to essentially pursue a life with this person, because you find yourself more at peace now than you essentially were when you were dealing with this person. Because when you were dealing with this person, you constantly found yourself, worried. You constantly found yourself thinking, well, what if they're doing this behind my back? What if they're doing that behind my back? What if this blows up in my face? What if this happens? What if that happens? But now that this person's not in your life anymore, you don't got to worry about those things. So this is kind of telling me that you find a lot of comfort in being single and alone than being in an actual relationship with someone. It just kind of looks like there's like a very negative association you have when it comes down to being in a relationship, with someone. And this is kind of why you find so much comfort in being single and alone, because when you're single and alone, you don't got to worry about if somebody's playing you. You don't got to worry about if, this person's doing this, down the third behind your back. You don't got to worry about those things. The only thing that you got to really worry about is you, in your life. That's pretty much it. That's the only thing that you have to essentially worry about. So this is what's causing you to feel ultimately, right? Like you made the right decision by turning your back on this person. Now, as far as the ultimate outcome is concerned, going back to what I originally said in the very beginning of this reading, it kind of looks like you're second guessing yourself on whether or not you actually did make the right decision by turning your back on this person and your relationship with them. So let's look at that Two of Wands energy. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, this person's not ready to let you and what they once upon a time had with you go. This person invested a lot of time and energy towards you in this dynamic that they essentially share with you, and they wanted to essentially count for something. Like they don't want to look back at this relationship that they once upon a time had with you and feel like they essentially wasted their freaking time, is basically what I'm getting. But we do kind of see you kind of questioning whether or not you made the right decision. And the main reason why you're questioning all of this has a lot to do, with the simple fact that here they are coming back around your way, wanting to essentially pick up where they left off with you, not wanting to essentially let you and this dynamic that they essentially share with you go. It's basically what I'm getting. It's causing you to kind of, question, yourself on whether or not you made the right decision. It's also causing you to kind of question if this is somebody that you should invite back into your life, or not, is basically what I'm getting. Now let's pull some advice to see what it is that you should do. What advice can you give me for Scorpio in regards to their current situation? Okay. So we do have the Star. We do have the Knight of Pentacles. And then we also have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So when it comes down to like your overall advice, here's what Spirit wants you to know about this individual. Okay. Do I feel like this individual that you've been essentially dealing with for quite some time now is a good person? Yeah, I feel like this person is a good person. Are they perfect? No, but then again, nobody in this life is essentially perfect. But does Spirit want you to know that this person truly is a good person? Yes. Does Spirit want you to essentially know that this is somebody who does essentially mean well? Yes. However, because there's like a but to all of this, even though this person is a really good person, even though this person essentially means well, what Spirit wants you to just be aware of is that this individual that you've been dealing with for quite some time now is not for you. And here's why, okay? You're showing up as an Empress, and this person is showing up as a King of Wands. You and this person are not equally yoked by any means, okay? You guys are just simply not, okay? Now, with all of that being said, this person, yes, even though they are essentially a good person, all that stuff, if you were to accept this person back into your life all over again, you're going to find yourself essentially feeling, dissatisfied within your relationship with this person. And this is kind of why you're basically being advised to not accept this person back into your life. Because even though you guys, could end up getting back together, a year from now or 2 years from now, or it might even happen sooner, you're going to find yourself eventually hitting this energy of essentially feeling like you're building with someone that you really shouldn't essentially be dealing with or even building with. And it has a lot to do with the simple fact that you and this person are just simply not equally yoked. That's just kind of what it all kind of boils down to. I think that, they're a really good person. I think that you're a really good person too. This is one of those things where you guys are just simply not good for one another. You know what I mean? Is basically what I'm getting. You guys are just simply not good for one another. An Empress is always looking for their Emperor. That's just the reality of the situation. And an Empress is always looking for their Emperor, because an Emperor would technically be somebody who's equally yoked to an Empress like status, which that's basically what you are. So you're basically dealing with somebody who doesn't have the same mindset as you, doesn't have the same goals as you, doesn't really have the same desires as you do, like, for example, an Emperor would, right? So with that being said, do I feel like you are being advised to continue to walk down this path that you currently find yourself on, which is, a path that doesn't definitely, it definitely does not involve this person? Absolutely. But that's what spirit just wants you to know about this person, that yeah, they are a really good person and they do mean well. However, this is just somebody who's just simply not for you. They're just simply not for you, because eventually you're going to find yourself later on down the line, feeling like you're building a life with somebody that you really shouldn't be building, with. Okay. So I guess take that information and do what you want with it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this is your life. You get to do whatever it is that you want with it. I mean, you could go off and build and establish a life with this person, but just anticipate / expect for that energy to eventually hit you, as far as like, you feeling, dissatisfied within your relationship with this person. You're not feeling entirely happy and or content within your relationship with this person. And it all kind of stems from a place of you building a life with somebody that you're not equally yoked with. Okay. That's what it all essentially boils down to. For you is basically what I'm getting. I think that what caused you to essentially feel the way that you essentially felt, had a lot to do with you knowing deep down inside that this person's not a really good fit, for you. Because at the end of the day, you are in a way trying to pursue a life with somebody who doesn't really fit what you truly want and desire within a person anyways. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there are certain things about this person that you really do love, value, and appreciate, but there's other things that you need within the person that they essentially lack. And that's just kind of what spirit wants you to just kind of, focus on, is that even though you might have a lot of emotions for this person, even though, you might like certain things about this person, they still nonetheless lack what you truly want and desire within a person. So let's just say, for example, you want somebody in your life that could essentially lead you. Well, I mean, in this case, you're dealing with somebody who can't really lead you. You can lead them, but they can't essentially lead you. And maybe that's really important to you, to be with somebody that could essentially lead you. Or also too, for example, let's just say that you're looking for like a provider / protector. Well, you don't really have that. You know what I mean? You don't really have that. You see what I mean? So there's just certain things that you, I guess, need within a person that they personally lack. You see what I mean? And I feel like this energy right here is like your soul kind of like screaming at you that this doesn't, fall into alignment with what you truly want and desire to have by your side. So like I said, they're a really, really good person. They truly are. I just don't feel like this person is a good fit for you. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. They're just not a good fit for you. But even though this person is not a good fit for you, you could always decide in the end to pursue a life with this person. But again, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that you're going to be 100% satisfied within your relationship with this person, because you're not. At the end of the day, you're going to find yourself eventually hitting this energy, which I feel like you've already started hitting this energy of feeling like there's certain things about this person that they essentially, don't have that you wish that they did essentially have. You see what I mean? And that in itself brings a lot of dissatisfaction to your life. That in itself doesn't make you feel safe and or secure. Maybe dealing with, for example, like a provider or protector is going to make you feel safe and secure. Maybe dealing with somebody that could essentially lead you, might make you feel safe and secure. You see what I mean? Like, there's certain things that I feel like you look for within a person that essentially makes you feel safe and secure. And you're dealing with somebody who doesn't really make you feel safe and secure because they lack certain things that you truly want and desire, within a person. But I also feel like this does have a lot to do with you having like a very negative association when it comes down to being in a relationship with someone. I think being in a relationship, with somebody makes you feel very vulnerable, and it really does scare the hell out of you. So I do feel like that's playing like a role in why things are not working out between you and this person. But I also feel like it has a lot to do with them essentially lacking what you truly want and desire within a person. That really does kind of bother you, because I feel like you want something that is going to align with your morals and what you want and what you desire to have by your side. And unfortunately, it looks like this person lacks certain things that you truly want to have within a partner. So it's those two things playing at once that are causing you to not feel safe and secure with you. That's causing you to kind of feel like maybe this is somebody that you really shouldn't be pursuing a life with. Again, good person. I just don't feel like this person is good for you, nor do I feel like this person possesses what you truly want and desire. That's just kind of what it all boils down to. But Like I said, dude, if you decide to pursue a life with this person, this is what you could roughly anticipate slash, expect, which is a relationship with somebody who does lack certain things that you truly want and desire, within a person. If these are things that you could essentially learn to just accept and just move past, I could see you eventually reaching this state of happiness and joy, but you're an empress. An empress is somebody who wants what they want. You know what I mean? And when they don't get what they want, they start to essentially feel like they're settling for less. And that's ultimately how this relationship is going to make you feel later on down the line. For some of you, you could already be feeling this way already. But this is just kind of roughly what you can anticipate and or expect. All right. So that is what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated. And I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.